Hi, I'm Daniel Owenby, a sophomore on the wrestling team, and you're watching the Black and Gold Report on WFXB.
Hello Braves fans and welcome to this week's edition of the Black and Gold Report, a program all about UNCP athletics. I'm Kevin Freeman and we're going to talk this week with Coach John Haskins, head coach of the women's basketball program. Coach, welcome back to the program. Now the ladies are 4-2 right now, if I remember correctly. You got off to a relatively slow start, losing your first two games, but the Lady Braves have managed to rattle off 4 wins in a row. Assess the team's overall performance to this point.
Well, first of all, in the Wingate Classic, we played what I thought were two quality teams in Newbury and Wingate, and we didn't play poorly. We played fairly well. Both of them were like one-possession games in the last 3 minutes, and we just didn't make the plays down the stretch. Had a few days break to get better at some things, and then came back with, I think, next was the St. Andrews game, and won over there, and played very well defensively the first half. And that was something we needed to get better at, our defense. In our exhibition games and scrimmage games, I didn't think our defense was real good, and it improved quite a bit. The other thing that happened is we got Winnie Shamak back from an ankle injury, so she was able to play some for us, and I think that helped us. And then just a good win at Fayetteville State, a win where we struggled at times but made enough plays to win that game. And then another tough, hard-fought win here against Queens, where they pressed a lot and we turned the ball over a lot. And then I win this weekend against Wingate.
Right, I wanted to talk about that win. It was a 63-58 win. They were ranked, the Lady Bulldogs were ranked 22nd at the time. Just talk a little bit about that game, and you had lost to them previously, as you said, in the Wingate Classic. And did the ladies know that, and did they have something to prove the second time around?
Well, first of all, I think Wingate's a solid program. They have been a very good basketball program, an NCAA tournament caliber basketball program over the past 8 or 10 years. When we played there, we didn't play real well. They zoned us a bit. We didn't attack the zone very well. And our girls felt like we could play better and have a chance to win. Obviously, going into the game, it was a very poor first half. I thought both teams played poorly the first half, a 21 all tie at halftime. We really struggled handling their pressure. I thought we struggled defensively, which was the first time I think, kind of in the regular season, that we've really struggled defensively. Even though we only gave up 21 points, we did some bad things defensively, and we're better the second half and made some plays down the stretch. And I think the games were very similar. The game at Wingate and the game here, there they made shots and made plays down the stretch, and here we did.
All right, well, I wanted to point out, talk a little bit about Kiera Slim Haney. She had a very nice game in the starting role. She had a double-double, I think, 10 points, 13 rebounds, or something?
12 and 10.
12 and 10, only 19 minutes of action as well. She was arguably a project when you first brought her in here to UNCP a couple of years ago. And talk a little bit about how she's developing as a player.
Well, I think Kiera has a ton of natural ability. She's long. She's very quick off the floor. She's very athletic. She can run the floor. There's a lot of things that were there that was a plus. I think she just needed polish and continues to need polish. Slow down a little bit offensively. But she's a great kid that really works hard, and obviously we wouldn't have won that game without her. Courtney Bolton had an upset stomach. We only played her 3 minutes. Courtney did not feel well, and I just thought Kiera did a great job. And that wasn't the first game. I mean, the first game of the season in Newbury, I think she had 11.7 rebounds and 5 block shots. And so she's still got to get better at some things. I think it's just the tip of the iceberg with her in terms of what she can be.
And she brings a lot of size into the middle as well. And size is something
she's long and athletic, and you can't coach that.
All right, well, you've only really had the Wingate game is really the only game that the Lady Braves have had over roughly a 4-week stretch, going into a few days from now as well. How do you keep the players focused when they're not playing a lot of competitive basketball over such a long period of time?
Well, the schedule was really not to our liking, but when we had 2 teams that owed us games in Queens and Wingate, and when people owe you home games, you got to kind of play when they can play. And the one issue is that Carolina's conference starts their conference season early, so We work those games in when we can. We didn't like the break, and I thought it showed by the way we played in the first half. We looked like we hadn't done anything for almost 2 weeks, and so that's an issue, that's a struggle, and you just do the best job you can to make practices competitive and keep working on things you need to get better.
So you play a lot of 5-on-5, a lot of game
Yeah,
simulations?
we need to do more scrimmaging. That's one thing that we don't probably do enough of. We need to do more scrimmaging, competitive scrimmaging.
We got about 30 seconds left for this first segment here, Coach. First time you and I talked, you mentioned that leadership, finding a leader on this team might be something that you want to do. How is that progressing?
It's a work in progress. We just don't have vocal kids. I think obviously Kemp is a leader on the floor in terms of her actions. Shedrica Fuller, who's just a freshman, our point guard, is trying to be a vocal leader. I think Taylor Galantine is a leader in terms of her actions. So I think we've got more action leaders than vocal leaders, but we're still trying to develop that.
All right, Coach, we're going to take our first break. We'll come back and talk a little bit more to Coach Haskins about the upcoming Peach Belt schedule.
I thought it was my lungs.
I was having shortness of breath.
I had a great team of doctors.
Dr. Lowry, wonderful doctor. The only one, really, who has ever had my heart in his hand.
I don't think you got any better treatment in Duke than you got him.
I felt very safe.
I mean, I feel good. Got energy.
I go to the mall and walk 2 miles.
I come out victorious.
I love Southeastern, and of course, if it has something to do with their heart, this is where you get it.
Founded in 1887 as the Croatan Normal School, the University of North Carolina at Pembroke has grown to a student body of over 6,000 and is now one of the most diverse institutions in the nation. As we prepare to celebrate our 125th anniversary in 2012, we remember the rich heritage of this institution and anticipate an exciting future. With an average class size of 21 students, the University of North Carolina at Pembroke is a place where students will get the personal attention they deserve at a great value. If you want to know your professors and classmates and have an enriching experience inside and outside of the classroom, then UNC Pembroke might be exactly what you're looking for. If you have what it takes to be brave, check out experience.uncp.edu. There, you can take an online campus tour, schedule a campus visit, or apply for admission. Going to UNCP isn't for everyone. It's for the brave.